Hey, good morning everybody. It's Saturday morning, about 11 o'clock here in Texas. I'm going to talk about the dust collection in my little shop here today. Let's start with the big dust collector here. Is this is a Harbor Freight converted. It's got a Win 35 head filter on it. It's got dust right baffles in this little barrel right here, and it hooks to everything pretty much with this 4-inch hose right here. All the tools in the shop have dust ports on them so they can just get plugged in. Got this my saw stop 52-inch 3-horsepower cabinet. It's all over there. It's got 2 4-inch ports on it. This Laguna 18BX has 2 4-inch ports on it. There's the connection for the table saw there. Then my other big tool in the shop is this Powermatic helical head 8-inch joiner. So then for sanding and all that kind of stuff, have all these benchtop tools. These are all mounted on cabinets with rollers on them. That's really handy for storage and moving stuff around when I need to. And then over here I have my drill press and my mortiser, which I'm getting ready to sell because I got this cool Panto router now. And that thing's pretty awesome for joinery and all that. Okay, so over here though, you see my workbench back there. It's got collecting all the stuff as we're getting ready to make some major changes in here. This is where I do most of my sanding. I use my little orbital random mortable sander, and my sharpening and all that stuff is tucked under there. But for dust collection for the sanders, all I was using was this. It's just a Home Depot little bucket head, 5-gallon bucket vacuum, and it works good. It keeps the big mess away. But obviously, if anybody knows anything about filtration and dust collection and fine particles, you know that's not an adequate filtration for that kind of dust in here. We didn't ever have a problem really before, because you can see I got an 8-foot door there, and there's an 8-foot door there. So when these doors are opened up, which they usually are, because in Texas it's pretty hot in the summer, and on a nice day it's nice to just have the shop opened up. But then we installed a mini split. That's a 3-ton there, and so now with the insulation that we did and the mini split, the shop stays in the 70s year round around here. We got these big heaters. Those are about to come down because we just don't need them anymore, and they just never turn on, so we're gonna take those down. But this dust collection now, we have, because we have the shop closed up now, that little 2-horsepower Harbor Freight right there, rated at like 1550 CFM. Guys, when they rate these things, the manufacturers, they do that with nothing hooked to that blower. So when you add the filters and hoses, and especially when you convert them to these 2 stages and all that, you're not getting anywhere near that. With the 8-inch impeller that was in that housing there, by the time we got to the tool connections here, we were only getting about 400 CFM, which is the actual minimum SawStop recommends for this. And Laguna recommends about 600 for this saw. So as you can see around here, you got little just fine dust everywhere. And this isn't the dust that kills you. This isn't the dust that you have to worry about. The dust that you can see, it settles. If it gets stirred up, it settles again pretty quick. But the problem is, with the shop closed up now, these tools in here, they're really efficient at throwing fine dust particulates into the air, the ones that you can't see that operate kind of like gas. They float and permeate to fill the space, so they just fill the whole space with the kind of dust that irritates your lungs, causes scarring and all kinds of problems inside your respiratory system. So now that we don't have a good air exchange in here because we keep the shop closed up, we're gonna have to do something about it. So next on the list, we'll show you how we're gonna take care of this on the next video. All right, good morning guys. It's been a couple of weeks since I did the first video with what we had in here before for the dust collection, and this is the upgrade. So what you're looking at here, this is an Oneida Dust Gorilla Pro, 5 horsepower. That thing's rated at almost, I don't know, close to 2,000 CFM on a 7-inch duct. You see where it says Smart Boost right there? That's an interesting feature that this has, because when you cut the line down to say like a single 4-inch port, that motor right there will throttle up to maintain the airflow when it senses a higher static pressure on the line. When it's pulling harder, it'll throttle up to compensate for keep the flow. So that's pretty interesting, and the thing sounds like a jet engine when it fires up. It's got a soft start on it, so it's really kind of cool. It doesn't dim the lights or anything. We'll just start it up for you so you can hear it. And then throttling it up, starts pulling. You can see it start pulling on the lines. Thing's got a lot of suction on it. And then maybe you can hear, if I shut down one of these ports here, see, hear it throttle up. That thing really puts out a lot of suction here. So this right here also has a lot of filter area because it moves so much air. It has this is a HEPA rated filter, so that filters down to very fine particulates. So it's moving about over twice as much air as what we had in here before. We checked it with the meter, and we're pulling at the furthest port all the way in the back there. We're getting over 1,000 CFM right there. So we ran a 7-inch duct. We plumbed in the 18-inch Laguna bandsaws at 18BX. The minimum recommendation on that was 600 CFM. We're pulling way more than that there now. So it's performing a lot better, keeping the cabinet clean. The saw stop has 2 4-inch ports on it with this overarm on it. So this overarm, we're gonna put a blast gate on that so we can regulate the suction on the top. Because when we're making thin rips here, that suction is so strong that it'll lift up the thin rips off of that blade, and they move around so they can hit that blade and kick back. So that's a little bit of an issue, but easily dealt with. So we ran the 7-inch duct. We dropped them down to 4 at the tool connections. So like I said, back here at this furthest connection here, that right there is pulling over about 1,000 CFM there, probably just a little bit under, depending on how accurate the meter is. I don't know exactly how accurate it is because we don't do a lot of testing in that. So, but it's way more than we had before. So let that be. And then we added a few things like on the little drill press here. We have these PowerTech lines, that collapsible lines. So they'll hook on the tool port, and those are just Rockler spring clips holding that to the side of the cabinet. And then this just extends out and pretty much stays wherever you want to put it. So that was a nice little addition to keep things a little cleaner around those tools. And then when I showed you guys we do most of my sanding, here at my table, we got rid of the bucket and we added this Festool little mini here, the CT15. It's HEPA rated. This thing pulls a lot harder than the vacuum did, the little bucket head we had. This pulls about 150 CFM, which is pretty good for the handheld sanders and all that. And the nice part about this is the tool plugs into the unit, so when you turn the tool on, it fires up whenever you turn the sanders on. We also run it here on the small line on the panel router. It seems to do pretty well. But if you can see back here, we added another one of those lines that we hooked the big dust collector onto that too. So that really kind of cuts down on everything coming off of this little machine. And then all these machines here are all ported for the tool ports, and they all run off of that line over there or back here, wherever we happen to be working on stuff. So that's kind of what we've done there. And then we got rid of the shop vac that really lacks a lot of power, and we went with the VacMaster Beast, 14 gallon, 6.5 horsepower, which those ratings are a little bit not accurate exactly. They're a little confusing, but this thing puts out a lot better performance and has a lot more capacity than the little shop vac that we had in here. So now that we're keeping the shop a lot more closed up, the air's a lot cleaner. And of course, none of it's 100%, so still using respirators in here, but we've really kind of tamed down the fine dust. And I'm pretty happy with the performance of all of this. So just wanted to share that with you guys, let you see kind of what we did, how we upgraded it, and let you see the shop a little bit. Hope you guys have a great day.